I am so excited to be here. I am so excited. I'm playing Happily Ever After just while we're starting, because I just wanted to encourage you to believe that it can be happily ever after when it comes to food and your weight. So good morning. If you've popped your details in StreamYard, I'll be able to see who's saying good morning. Morning, Nicole, Helen, Charlie. If you haven't, then good morning. I'm still so glad that you are here, but I just might not be able to see who's commenting. So I hope you've got your cuppa. I've got my cuppa, although as I get going, I'll probably forget to drink it. So please remind me. If you are watching on replay, please type replay just so I can gauge how many people this has reached and how many people are benefiting from the content that I am putting out there. So I have created this masterclass so that you can kickstart your relationship with food, so that you can start to use various strategies that I'm going to share with you today to work towards food freedom. And I know if you're in the place that I've been in, and I was in for a very long time, that can sound like an impossible task. But I promise you, it is not an impossible task. And it doesn't mean counting sins, calories, or points, or being on food packs or anything else. There is other ways. So the aim of this masterclass is to allow you to look at weight loss from a completely different angle. I want to share a new perspective with you to traditional dieting, because if, like I did, you have spent many years dieting, then I think it's time that you gave yourself an opportunity to do something different and to create a better relationship, not only with food, but with yourself, because it's all tied up together. And I'm sure you've probably realized now that it's not actually about the counting calories as much it is about how you feel about yourself and what is going on in life, just what is happening. So we've got loads to cram in over the next hour. Also, hopefully I can keep it within the hour. Hopefully you've got your workout, your printed workout. I'm not going to be doing a workout, your workbook. But if you haven't, don't panic. Just grab a pen and a piece of paper. It's fine. You can make notes. There's just headings on there as we go through. So just follow along with that and make notes as you want to. So before I introduce myself properly, I just invite you to, first of all, commit to the class. So what do I need from you? I need you to allow yourself this time, okay? Whether you are watching on live now with me or you're watching on the replay, I want you to gift yourself this time without distraction, without having your phone next to you texting, without trying to do 3 things at once, as us women often do. Right now, you are the most important person, okay? This is your self-care time. You may have other things to do, but right now, just take a moment to just take this time for you, okay? You can be the best version of you when you allow yourself to be. And I know we all think self-care is selfish, but it isn't, because actually, if you're not the best version of you, then you can't give that to your friends, your children, your partners, okay? So that's what I'm asking you to do. Take time out. The way you do everything, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And what I mean by that is, if you always approach things kind of like, oh, I'll do it all, then it's likely that you'll approach this with, oh, I'll just do that while I'm doing this and while I'm doing that. So I just really want you to focus on allowing time for you. Okay, the other thing, take notes, okay? Knowledge is power. And what I'm going to share with you is lots of knowledge about how to change your relationship with food. So take notes, and then, most importantly, take action, okay? Because knowledge is only power if you put it into practice, if you take action. Okay, so give me a yes in the comments if you are ready. Just give me a quick yes so I know that you're with me. I know that you're concentrating and you're ready to give yourself this time. Give me a yes. I'm going to have a sip of my tea. Are you ready? Yes. Yes, Helen's ready. Yes, hands in the air. Yes, yes, Charlie's ready. Fantastic. Okay. So I also promised you that there would be prizes. Okay. So, that's another point. Be accountable. We're stronger together. So be accountable through the session. So the prize today is a £20 Amazon gift card. Okay. So if you are interacting and you're taking part in this workshop, your name is going to go into the hat. And I'm going to be back on Tuesday because I also want to give the people watching on replay a chance to win the prizes. So I'm going to be back on Tuesday to pick a winner at random in front of your eyes, and somebody will win an Amazon gift card. And also, I've just had some Becoming You Academy water bottles made. So if anyone fancies one of these, maybe I'll send a few of those out as well. Okay, so everyone loves a prize, don't they? So first up, what I would like to just ask you to think about is that every craving has a positive intention. Okay, so just let that sink in. Helen loves the water bottles. Yay! Every craving has a positive intention. So what I mean by that is when we're trying to lose weight, we often get so frustrated because we decide we're not eating things, we decide we're being good, and that we shouldn't have certain foods. But then we get cravings, whether that's cravings for chocolate, whether it's cravings for something you've decided to cut out of your diet. And the truth is, our bodies are pretty clever. Yeah, they are supposed to be telling you what you need. So when you learn to actually tune into them, they will help you. They will help you discover the right food that you need at the right time for your body. And notice I say for your body, because we are all unique. And the thing is, we've got so wrapped up in diets, in needing to look a certain way and eat certain foods, we've actually stopped listening to what our body needs. And I know some of you might be thinking, well, if I crave chocolate or crave a piece of cake, that's not what my body needs. But actually, if you're craving cake to make you feel better because you are an emotional eater, then just consider that you're craving that because that is your coping mechanism. And right now, and I say right now because it doesn't have to stay that way, but right now, you haven't found a better way. Okay, that was the way you learned. At some point in your past, you learned that certain foods give you a pick-me-up. Certain foods make you feel better, and that's okay. Pretty much most of the population have learned to do that. The difference is some people do it on a smaller scale, and some people haven't got the other difficulties around food and weight loss that we have. Okay, so I just want you to consider that if you are craving something, then it has a positive intention. And if it is something, that you go to, your go-to food, then it is just because you haven't found another solution yet. Okay, so what if you could come up with another solution? Hey, so appreciate the craving. And appreciate if you're feeling imbalanced, that you're just trying to work out a way to level up. Okay, got a question for you. Okay, what is your long-term goal? Okay, is your long-term goal weight loss, or is it peace with food? Okay, you can answer me if you want to in the comments. What is your goal? And have a think about this. Okay, If I could wave a magic wand right now and make you the size that you would like to be, or give you peace with food, which would you choose? Okay, I always thought my goal was to lose weight, but actually, you can lose 6.5 stone like I did, but you can still have a daily battle with food, and you can still try to be working it out. So Sarah's put both. I think Helen's put peace with food, and other Helen has put that's a difficult one, and someone else I would like both. Okay, so of course we want both, but it is a difficult one, isn't it? Because okay, so peace with food would probably lead to weight loss. Exactly, Nicole. This is so true. Yes, it might be slightly slower, but when you have a peaceful relationship with food, the weight does take care of itself. And somebody, I don't know who you are, can't see your name, but my ideal body. Yeah, we all want the ideal body, don't we? I'm still working on that one. Okay. And somebody else has said to be healthy in all. So I thought my goal was just to lose weight. I just wanted to be a normal size. That was my goal. I didn't know what that weight was, but I wanted to be a normal size. But actually, I realized more recently, because I've been managing my weight for so long now, that I hadn't got a healthy relationship with food. I thought I had, but I'd been skipping meals for the past 15 years or so, skipping meals and trying to save food in order to eat at the weekend. And then that eating was becoming more and more at the weekend, because basically what I was doing was depriving myself all week. Okay, aspects of way of eating: to not worry and panic about what I'm eating and feeling like a bad person. Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully by the end of this class, you will have lots of thoughts about how to stop some of those, not to worry and not to panic and not to feel bad. Okay, just before I go any further, I'm just going to introduce and tell you a little bit about me. I know some of you watching know me really well, but I know there's some of you that don't know me at all. We've only met via Instagram or Facebook, and I just wanted to let you know who I am and why I'm kind of qualified to be talking to you about all of this. So I'll just give you my story. So this is me. I'm Jenny McDonald. I developed a very tricky relationship with food at a very young age. I'm talking about, by the time I was 10, I was quite overweight. So I've worked out where I believe it started. So when I was around 4 or 5, I was rushed into hospital. And until this point, I think I had quite a normal relationship with food. I was quite a slim child. And when I came out of hospital, my weight was really low. And my parents encouraged me to eat. And they kept praising me when I ate, because they wanted me to build myself back up. I was a slight little 5-year-old that had been very, very poorly. Now, what I learned quite quickly is I was a real good girl if I ate, and my parents really loved me if I ate all my food. So I ate to please them, and then I learned to push that body's boundaries of how much I was eating. What I also learned, that food was going to keep me safe, because if I built myself up, I wouldn't have to go back in hospital again. And food felt good and it was satisfying. Okay. Unfortunately, by the time I was 10 or 11, I was very, very overweight. Okay. The picture there is me. I think I was about 12 at that point. And my mum tried so hard to, sorry, I always get emotional at this bit, because I'm a parent and I know how hard it must be when you see your children struggling. So my mum tried hard to help me lose weight. She restricted my food, and she swapped foods and healthy snacks for fruit. But that is when my secret eating began, because I I didn't want my food to be restricted. My brother was being allowed more food than me. So that's where my yo-yo dieting and my constant obsession with food began. And thank you, ladies. And that whole love-hate relationship with food. Okay. And I tried everything. Weight Watchers, Slimming World, Atkins. I went on Xenical, which was a weight loss drug. I went on Reductil, Lipotrim, which was a meal replacement program. And I was just so miserable. And I would lose weight. I would lose a stone or two, but I wouldn't keep it off. I've struggled. Yeah. And I know that you can all relate to this. So let's talk about my journey to food freedom. Let's pick this up. Okay. I did a very low calorie diet. It was called Lighter Life. I know lots of you have heard of it. But most importantly, it wasn't about that. It was about changing my relationship with food. Okay, so I worked in a small group, ladies only, where I discovered all of these reasons that I've just shared with you, what I'd learned about food. Just learning about them wasn't enough to change it, but then began that gradual process because I was more aware of what was going on. Unfortunately, I lost 6.5 stone on this journey, but I also discovered I had lipedema. And for anybody that doesn't know, lipedema is an abnormal collection of fat cells. It quite commonly starts in the bum and the legs, but it can spread to all over your body, depending what stage you are. So as you can see from that photo, they're my legs, or they was my legs. I've had a little bit of help there. I was a size 8 on top. You can probably see the waist is quite small, and my legs were still not fitting into trousers that were below a 16, 18. Okay. And if anyone wants to talk to me about lipedema, and if you think you might suffer with that, then please feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to chat to you about what it is, because it's an unknown condition still. Okay. Now, the key here for me was that I changed my beliefs, because before this journey, I always believed that I had that I was destined to be overweight forever. I believed that this was my life. And, how many of you have told yourself that this is how it is, that you are always going to struggle, that you are always going to be overweight, that you can't lose this weight, that you might lose a little bit for a holiday or a wedding, but you're never going to keep it off? How many of you have told yourself that? Okay. Hello to the fellow lippy sufferer. I can't see who you are, but hello. So it really is about changing your beliefs. Let me just show you this. Everything we believe affects how we feel, and how we think and how we behave. Okay, so when you are feeling a bit uncomfortable, okay, so if you feel a bit uneasy about something, you notice you're not feeling tickety-boo, as I like to say, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts going on to impact how you're feeling? And obviously, when we've got thoughts going on, that impacts how we feel, and those thoughts and feelings impact on how we behave, and whether that behavior is around food, whether it's snapping at other people, it has a knock-on effect. So let me just give you some examples. So let's say if your belief is, I will always be overweight, okay? If you have that belief, then you are likely to have lots of thoughts like, hi, Mickey. Mickey, welcome. So thoughts like, I can't stop eating. I'm always hungry. Nothing fills me up. Or maybe it's thoughts like, it doesn't matter what I do, I could not eat and I still won't lose weight. So you're kind of telling yourself that this is how it is. Okay. And if those are your thoughts, that you can't stop eating, that you're always hungry, or that you just simply can't lose weight no matter what you do, then how are you going to feel? How are you going to feel if those are the thoughts constantly running through your head? going to feel pretty rubbish. And every time you start a diet, you're going to think, oh, here we go again. And you're going to feel dreadful about it. Now, if that's your thoughts, your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, your behavior is going to be what? Okay, if you're thinking that, if you're feeling that, your behavior is likely to be, no matter what you try, that you end up sabotaging yourself, you end up overeating, you end up secret eating, you end up emotionally eating, because your core belief is that you can never lose weight. Okay, so that is the first key. Okay, think about, what do you believe? Okay, and the first key is changing that belief. And there's a whole program to change your belief system, but you can just start by trying to collect evidence that is not true. So an example here is, you might believe that you can't lose weight, but actually I bet every single person watching here has lost weight in the past in some shape or form. Okay, you will have lost weight. So the evidence is that you can 100% lose weight. Maybe a more balanced thought is, I can lose weight, but I need to work on my relationship with food in order to keep my weight stable. Maybe your belief is, I am working towards a better relationship with food, and try and make that the thing that you tell yourself constantly. Okay. So changing your beliefs is literally key. And funny enough, one of the beliefs I had until really recently, until about a year ago, is that I will always struggle. And people used to say, oh, but you've kept your weight off for so long. And I used to answer with, yes, but I'll always struggle. It'll always be a battle. I'll always be working at it. And I hadn't even realised until I started working more again within this field, that I was still stuck. That my belief that was that I was always going to struggle. So although I was successfully managing my weight, it was a continuous fight until recently. So my second shift came when I retrained as a health and life coach. And through that training, I realized that it was like a wake-up call, like I was still stuck in this dieting cycle, and that I was still relying on the scales to validate who I was. And I was using various methods of under-eating to keep my weight stable, and then overindulging at the weekends. So now I'm changing that belief that I'm not going to struggle, because this is actually easy. When you get to grips with it, it's easy and it's fun and it's enjoyable and it's so freeing. So, because of this, I feel really passionate about sharing my journey to help others, and that is why I set up this Facebook group. So when I first lost my weight, I trained with Light Life. I trained in cognitive behavioral therapy, in transactional analysis, and worked in weight loss. And I ran groups, single sex groups, for 10 years for ladies and groups of men to change their relationship with food. And I've literally helped thousands of people. And I've seen the change, but I also know that the change isn't always permanent, because we can slip back to our old behavior and our old life with food. So I want to share as much as I can with people. I created a podcast, and if you haven't listened to the podcast, please go and give it a listen. It's been running for just over a year. Last July, I didn't even know what a podcast was. I've literally hadn't listened to podcasts, but now it's out there. There's about 25 episodes to help you change your relationship with food. Okay, it's about your mindset, not about what you're eating. Okay, so the truth about weight loss. Let's look at this. Let's dive in. And you've got a question on your workbook, if you've got your workbooks. And the question is, why is having a healthy relationship with food so difficult for me? So just want you to think about that. Why is having a healthy relationship with food so difficult for you? Why do you think that is? And feel free to type in the comments. Charlie says she enjoys the podcast. Thank you, Charlie. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. My tea's gone cold. Hope you're enjoying your teas. You might have someone bringing you another one. Okay, so why is having a healthy relationship with food difficult for you? Now, I'm going to answer why I think it's difficult, and none of it is your fault. None of it is our fault. Okay. So this is my theory, and I'm sorry if you commented and it's not coming through. It takes a while to catch up for me. Helen said, because if I eat normally, I gain weight. Helen, I wonder if that's your belief. That's your belief we need to work on. If you eat normally, you're going to gain weight. So therefore you starve yourself. Because food makes me feel better in the moment. Yes, it does. It does. And because we need it for energy, it tastes good. And you need an on and off switch. Yeah, we do need it for energy. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. And it does taste good, and we should be able to enjoy it. Okay, so this isn't number one. This is just some extra bonuses. I'm going to come to number one shortly, Charlie. I've just got so much to share with you. Okay, so this is what I think. This is why I think it's hard. So first of all, we focus on the reward of weight loss being the scales going down. Okay, so we focus on weight loss, not changing our relationship with food. Okay, that is the first thing we need to change. Stop focusing on the scales. I've recorded a whole podcast on this. Stop thinking about what the numbers are. We just want the numbers to go down, I know. But imagine if your focus between now and Christmas was just to develop your relationship with food, just to have a really positive, healthy relationship with food. Would that make a difference if you didn't weigh between now and Christmas, but you just focused on having a healthy relationship with food? Okay, so that's the first thing. We focus on the weight loss, and what tends to happen is 1 week when the scales don't go down, we blow it all out of proportion and we go and reward ourselves with food because nothing works. And what's the point? Yeah. Again, we've all been there, but that is because we focus on the scales. We don't see a reward as I've managed not to eat in secret all week, or I've gone 7 days without binge eating. Yeah, that is the reward, the success you are having in changing your relationship with food, in not drinking wine every night, in not eating crisps three bags a day. That is the success. So stop seeing scales as the reward. Okay, the weight loss is the reward that will come. Okay, one of the other reasons is we have a human brain. Okay, your brain, your primal brain, its job is to keep you alive. Yeah, you are motivated to eat. You're motivated to experience pleasure and avoid pain. And also, your body is programmed to store energy in order for you to survive. Okay, so to store the fat. Now, we need to enjoy food. If we didn't enjoy food, we probably wouldn't really eat much. And then eventually we would have nothing left. We would die. So we need to be enjoying food. Now, I know lots of people say to me, I just don't enjoy food anymore. And I get that. Okay, I get that, because food feels like the enemy. And somebody just looked up and somebody's commented, food, I see food as the enemy now after years of weight loss, and I don't enjoy it anymore. It's only for energy. Yeah. So you know, hopefully if you put in some of these things to practice, we can start working towards food not being the enemy, food being something you can go back to enjoying. Okay, we're also programmed, as I say, to avoid pain. Now, years ago, that pain would be, if you think back to, I always give the example of like cavemen. the pain would be being attacked by a wild animal. Okay, so we're programmed to run, to hide, and to avoid that pain. But nowadays, that sort of threat isn't there, thank goodness. But nowadays, our pain we want to avoid is to avoid uncomfortable emotions. Okay, so what happens is when we feel uncomfortable, it's like, oh, I don't like this. This is not good. I've got all these worries going around in my head. I need to avoid this pain. What makes me feel better? It's food. Okay, so having this human brain is quite difficult because we are programmed to eat. We're programmed to avoid this pain. We've learned that food equals less pain, even if it is just in that moment. So we're fighting against our human brain. Okay. So also our brain, because it desires the food, when we eat a small amount of food, dopamine is released in our brain and it gives us pleasure. But we have different amounts of pleasure from different types of food. So, for example, if you eat some chicken or an apple, a small amount of dopamine is released and we're satisfied. But sugary foods have a much higher concentration of sugar, and therefore our brain sees it as even more pleasurable, and we crave this type of food. And food manufacturers know this. Oh my goodness, don't they know it? And they're a business, and it is their job to make us keep wanting to go back and buying their products. Yeah. So they know that if the food has a certain amount of sugar in, a certain amount of fat in, and a certain amount of salt in, that we are kind of more likely to want more and more and more. In fact, they spend so much money researching the right mix to make us want it and to make their product sell. The other thing is our body doesn't work properly when we overeat. Okay, it stores the fat. So if you've heard of the hormone, I'm sure you have, called cortisol, this is the hormone that we release when we are stressed out. And studies show that increased cortisol in the system leads to fat accumulation. So people who tend to gain weight primarily around the belly are likely to be experiencing chronic low-level stress. Okay, because there's an excess cortisol production, and this has a really strange effect of fattening up the belly. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay, so stress, you might have guessed, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. Okay, if you are overeating, you are also likely to be on the blood sugar roller coaster. Now, I did a whole live quite a while ago about the blood sugar roller coaster, but when you are constantly on this, your body isn't working the same way. Okay, I'm not going to go into it in depth, but your body is not working the same way, and you are literally going like this. And what happens is when you're in your dip, your brain and your body is, people say, oh, I'm shaky, I need something. You're in that dip. The first place your brain knows to get energy is something high in sugar or something carby, something starchy. And that is why you'll crave the bread, the crisps, the sugar, the cake, the biscuits. And then what happens is you go up, but then you flip back down. And we are, constantly, your body is going to work best if you give it 3 balanced meals a day. And I know that is like the oldest thing in the book, but it is so true. So our mood is also affected when we're on the blood sugar roller coaster, which then means, what do we do when we're low in mood? We're more likely to eat. Okay, I've mentioned the food manufacturers. Let me just check I cover everything on my list. Let's just talk about emotional eating briefly. We are trying to I've just got a question. Does intermittent fasting help with the roller coaster? Okay, it can. And part of my work is I really believe in finding what works for you. Now, some people fast, but what they do is in the hours they can eat, they end up overeating, eating loads, because in their dieting brain, it's, well, I'm fasting, so I'm saving loads of calories and therefore I can eat. If what you're eating within your window of eating is healthy, balanced nutrition food, and your body gets into a routine of knowing what it's getting when, then that can work really, really, really well. And I'm trying to shorten my hours of eating, because I was eating at kind of 6 o'clock in the morning because I was getting up at 5, but then I wasn't eating till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And if you think about how long you're not eating, it's not actually that long. So it's, when we talk about fasting, I always talk about shorten your hours either side, so you're eating less and less periods of time, but it doesn't mean you need to go down to eating only, within a 4-hour window, unless that suits your body. So it can help, but it's also about what types of food you're eating, because if in your fasting window or your eating window you're eating lots of processed or sugary foods, then you're still going to get the cravings when you're not fasting. Okay, sorry, when you go back to fasting. So emotional eating, we've become so uncomfortable with having different feelings. We are constantly trying to be happy. We are pressured by the media, by social media, to feel happy and feel good. We're constantly looking at other people's lives and thinking, oh, they've got it all going on, they're great, everything's okay for them. But that, life is up and down. Okay, it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to feel upset, frustrated, but we then look for ways to take away those uncomfortable feelings. So part of the thing is learning to sit with your feelings, learning to be okay with feeling uncomfortable, going back to, well, what am I thinking to make me feel uncomfortable? What are my beliefs, my thoughts, my feelings that are going on here, so that you can start to work on that level, rather than just reaching for food to push that feeling away. Okay. The other challenge we have is the whole social pressure, the cultural pressures. It's the norm to overeat. If we celebrate with food. If somebody comes around our house, we give them food, we offer food. It is the norm to overindulge. The pressure of, oh, well, if you're not having a pudding, I'm not having a pudding, and all of those different things. So we're also up against that. And every time we go on a diet, people have an opinion. People want to tell us what's wrong with that diet, what they think we should do. And they just want to encourage us to eat. And quite often, people don't want us to change, because actually, if we change, how does that make them feel? Are they going to feel more vulnerable about things that they're not happy with themselves if we change and we grow in confidence? Then we've just got the habits that we've developed. Now, these are really difficult, because for most of us, the habits have ingrained over 10, 20, 30 years, maybe even longer. And we are used to having weekend treats. We're used to the Friday night takeaway, the biscuit with a cup of tea, the sandwich with the crisps. We're used to eating certain types of foods in certain ways. Okay, so we've all got our own different habits. And someone might say to me, I never have sandwich and crisps, but then they've got a really an unhealthy habit somewhere else. And sometimes we don't even realize how unhealthy these habits are, because we tell ourselves, well, I eat quite healthy, well, I cook from scratch. So we don't always appreciate how unhealthy some of our habits are. There is health conditions. Sometimes if you have something like lipedema, or there are a couple of other health conditions where that can stop you losing weight. Okay, it can be a real battle, or it can make your weight loss really, really slow. So I just wanted to give a nod to them, because if you are suffering with something that is working against your weight loss, obviously that's just another kind of hurdle that you need to kind of work through. And finally, I haven't put it on there, but I added it in earlier. Diets. Okay, diets Well, when I say the word diet, what do you think? Because to me, diet equals deprivation. And I think as soon as we start on a diet, we start feeling deprived and we start thinking that we can't have certain things. And then we obsess with food. Okay. So that is just something else we are up against when we are trying to lose weight on conventional diets. Okay. I'm just going to go over the comments before I move on. Definitely avoiding socializing due to the expectation to overindulge. I think we've all been there. Say we're on a diet, people point it out if that's not on plan and they tell you off, and yes, it does, it makes you want to eat more when people call you out on it, because and there's different ego states that we operate from, and that's our child going, well, stuff you can't tell me what to do. And I'll do a live on that at some point. Yeah, Helen, the meds for your MS definitely can have a side effect and work against you when you're trying to lose weight, because some of these medications do have, and the other Helen, yeah, the ME definitely works against your weight. But you've tried to stop using that as an excuse. Well done, because that's the other thing, isn't it? We, like my lipedema, it's very easy to go, well, I've had lipedema, so my fat's going to continue to grow and therefore I can't manage my weight. So what's the point? And I did spend a long time feeling like that. What's the point? It's it's not my fault. We have to try and work with what we've got, don't we? So why did I tell you all of this? Why have I just gone through all those lists? Well, it wasn't to make you feel bad. It wasn't to make you think, oh, wow, what's the point? If that's all against me, what's the point? It's to make you realize that this is quite, a challenge. And I want you to understand, wow, no wonder I found it difficult all these years to lose weight. No wonder it's been hard. And actually, I'm doing pretty well here because I'm battling against all of those things. So if you didn't know, 93 to 95% of people who intentionally set out to lose weight regain it within 5 years. A lot of them regain it within a year. So that's just like, to me, and that is why I decided to pursue working in this field, because I just think that is crazy. And like, really, all of these people constantly on diets, and yet hardly any of them are keeping it off. It is just crazy. So you are not alone if you are still struggling right now. We are programmed to eat. We are working against all of these other things. Okay, so I'm coming to the 10 points. I'm coming to the 10 steps. So yeah, again, medication, it doesn't help get the munchies, Charlie. First diagnosed with lippy, you thought, what's the point? Yeah, Mickey, that's it. It's very easy to think, what's the point? But as you say, we do have normal fat that we can lose, and we can still lose weight. A UK surgeon says there's no point dieting as I have lippy. And that's not true. I don't believe it. I think that all of us lippy ladies can still lose the weight that is non-lipedema fat. So well done for your weight loss. Good work. So the good news is there is a way. So are you ready for my 10 steps to food freedom? Hopefully you've been following along and making notes, and you've got your next page, which will take you through to make notes of your 10 steps. So step 1, okay, here we go. Have a clear focus. And what I mean by this is, why do you want to lose weight? Okay, why do you want to have a better relationship with food? Now, you need to have a big enough motivation. And when you find this, it becomes easier. And what I do in the first session with all my clients is I help them to dig and find what we call the why under the why. So this is what I call your big motivating factor. Okay, so the goal sometimes isn't weight loss. We think it is. We think if we lose weight, we are going to get different outcomes, but that's not always the case. So, for example, sometimes we think when I lose weight, I'll feel better, I'll become more confident. Okay, great. So you're going to be more confident. So what difference does that make to your life? Well, I will feel more confident in my job. Okay, so you're not confident in your job. Well, no, I don't actually like my job. Okay, so you don't like your job. No, actually, if I lost weight, I'd feel more confident to go and get a new job. Okay, so you think that if you lose weight, you're more confident, you go out and get a new job. So actually, what this lady wants is to go and get a new job, but she feels that she needs to lose weight to do that. So whilst we can work on the weight loss, we can also work on what's going on in her job that is not satisfying her, because the chances are she hates a job and she's coming home and feeling rubbish every night, then that's going to lead to her eating. So there's often more going on than just wanting to lose weight. So have a clear focus. Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want a better relationship with food? What difference is it going to make to your life? Okay. Another example is, I was working with a lady a couple of years ago. She said, if I lose weight, my husband will pay me more attention. Okay. So when we worked on it, the weight wasn't the issue. Her husband loved her whatever size she was. It wasn't about her losing weight. That helped her confidence. That helped her feel more attractive. But maybe there was other things that, they just needed to work on. Maybe her husband's just been really busy and bogged down with work. Maybe there's other stuff happening, and actually they just need to focus and communicate with each other. But we put it down to our weight. So what is your why? Oh, that's interesting. Sarah says she feels like I will be a better person. So in what way would you be a better person? How does being 2 stone lighter make you a better person? In what way do you need to be a better person? Because again, if you're thinking I'd be a better mum, or I'd be better at my job, or I'd be better around the house, I would be able to do more, then if you start putting those things in place at the same time, again, you're changing everything that you want to change. So just going back, having a clear focus, what is your real reason why? Keep digging, keep asking yourself, what if I had that, what does that mean? What does that look like? And try and find the why under the why. That is your big motivating factor. Okay. Number 2, self-love. Oh my goodness, this is a biggie. We struggle with this one, don't we, ladies? Okay, so make friends with yourself. Don't start your journey from a frustrated, angry place. You won't get far. You won't, okay? Accept that you are exactly where you're meant to be right now. Whatever has led you to the point, whatever life has thrown at you, whatever you've learned, you cannot change that. We cannot go back in time. So we need to accept it. We need to be okay with it. And I know this can be difficult, but this is 100% important, an important step if you haven't already done this. Okay, so I need you to let go of any anger, any frustration, and make friends with yourself. Okay, Nicole said this is the hardest one for her. And Mickey, you feel if you lost weight, it wouldn't constantly be on your mind and you can enjoy life. Exactly. That's exactly where I want you all to be, because that's the place that is so freeing. And so it's just so liberating to stop thinking about dieting and food and calories. And okay, so you need to let go of any anger and frustration. You need to be grateful for the body you have, grateful that your body gets you from A to B, grateful for your knowledge that you have, grateful for this group of supported ladies that you have, grateful for your strength. Your body is incredible. Look at everywhere it's taken you, across the other side of the world for some of you. Look at some of the tricky, dangerous situations it's got you in, okay? For some of you, your body has given you the most amazing gift. It's given you children, okay? For some of you, your body has gone through operations, illnesses, injuries, and it has survived. Yeah, we've all survived a global pandemic. It is time to thank your body, to be grateful of where you are and make friends with yourself. Okay? When we show gratitude, when we focus on what we do have, it is so much more powerful than focusing on what we haven't got, what our body doesn't look like. Focus on what it does do and then get ready to move forward. Yeah? What are you willing to do? Okay? What efforts are you willing to put in? And we'll come to that in a moment because I'm going to move on to point 3. Okay. Awareness. Okay. I need you to become more aware of who you really are and your relationship with food. Who are you? What are you here for? Yeah. What do you want out of life? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What holds you back? What is holding you back right now? Okay. Most people are faffing around with life. They're in a 9-to-5 job that they don't particularly like, and they are eating their way through the pain and discomfort. Okay. When I work with my clients, for most of them, not all, but many, they soon realize this relationship with food is not the problem. It's life. It's a different area of their life that they are just not satisfied in. And once they make the tweaks, the whole food thing becomes so much easier. So get aware. And how do you become aware? Use a journal, meditate. I'm always talking about journaling every day, just 5 minutes a day. Learn to meditate, just sit with your thoughts, okay? It is honestly becoming aware and working out what you're not happy with, making those changes is extremely powerful. Okay. Wow, this is so hard. I hate myself. Affirmation is key. We'll do this. I've neglected in me and taken myself for granted. Wow, light bulb moment. I'm so pleased you've had a light bulb moment. I hate my job, draining me, feel trapped, bought a journal for this. Yes, we can do this. I'm glad you've bought a journal. Honestly, journaling is so powerful. It will help you start to see the wood from the trees and help you to start making small changes. I know we can't all go and leave the job we hate tomorrow, but we can put plans in place to make things better in our lives that we are struggling with. Sarah, need to build inner self-confidence. Yes, you do, Sarah. Okay. And that's the thing, isn't it? We think, oh, if I lose weight, I'll be more confident. But will we? Okay. There's probably a lot of limiting beliefs that tell you you're not good enough at different things in your life that is affecting your confidence. Okay. Not just the weight. Okay, number 4. Let's move on to number 4. Okay, number 4 is get real. And what do I mean by this? I know you might want weight loss immediately. I know you might want that peaceful relationship with food immediately. Of course you do. We all do. But we need to be patient. So stop setting unrealistic expectations. Don't think that you will start today or tomorrow or Monday, because Monday's start diet day, isn't it? Don't think you're going to start this new journey and you are never going to overindulge again. I lost my weight. I started on this journey in 2004, and I still went on holiday a few weeks back and ate and came home feeling rubbish because I'd ate way too much. What's the difference now? The difference is I have no expectations of myself. I don't set unrealistic expectations of going on holiday and not enjoying the alcohol and the food. I go with an open mind and I do what I do. And I don't beat myself up about that. I just come home and get back into my normal pattern. So being realistic with yourself. Don't set yourself a goal of, I've got to lose 2 stone in 2 months. Whilst that is possible on a very low calorie diet, and I know some of you are following a very low calorie diet, yes, it is possible, but there are often bumps in the road. And what happens is when we set these really, really tight goals and we don't achieve them, then we get really, really disheartened and we're likely to just fall off the wagon. So be realistic. This is a lifelong journey. Having a peaceful relationship with food is forever. It's not for a wedding. It's not for Christmas. It's not for your next holiday. It is forever. And when you accept that it takes time to work through that tricky relationship with food, that there are often years of behavior that you are trying to change, and that you will occasionally fall back into old habits, then it goes a long way. It goes back to number one, or to number two, making friends with yourself. Okay, you are exactly where you are meant to be right now. That is one of my favorite sayings. Okay, Sarah, I have a lovely life, but I can't make myself see it. So something, Sarah, that I totally recommend if that's how you're feeling is simply writing a gratitude diary. Every day I do this. Every day in the morning, I list everything I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my little girl. I'm grateful for running water. I'm grateful for the rainwater in the plants, the sunshine, and just focus on all of the things that you are grateful for. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we're spending less energy focusing on the negative, focusing on what we're not grateful for. Okay, so it's really, really important to start focusing on gratitude. Basically, I lost 14 stone 4 and now and it's been an absence. Congratulations on your weight loss. That's incredible. I lost 14 stone 4 stone. And now, however much you lost, congratulations. That is fantastic. And I'm glad you are enjoying this session. Okay, what are we on? Right, number 5, be honest. Okay, what I mean by this is, what are you prepared to do? Okay, there is no point committing to something you don't really want to do, because all you're going to do is set yourself up for failure. When I ran my ladies groups in Lighter Life, when I did my introductory session, I always said, if you are approaching this with you have to, or you'll try, then maybe it isn't for you. If you are starting something, if you are joining a slimming club and you are thinking, this probably won't work, I probably won't stick to it, but I'll give it a go, then don't bother. Don't set yourself up for another disappointing moment with weight loss. Think about it. What are you prepared to do? Okay, you need to be starting with, I am prepared to do journaling every day. I am willing to become more aware with meditating. Okay, what are you prepared to do? What are you willing to do? And really, really importantly, what are you not willing to do? Okay, like sometimes on my first one-to-one coaching calls, people say, before we start, I'm not giving up chocolate. Okay, and that's absolutely fine. I never ask any of my clients to give up chocolate or any food. It is, what are you prepared to do? Okay. And just while I'm on this, I'm very conscious that there's a couple of you watching who work with me with the one-to-one diet, which is a very low calorie diet. It's a meal replacement diet. And I know that sometimes when I talk, you might be thinking, this is kind of jarring for me. And the reason I chose to stay with the one-to-one diet is because I do believe that very low calorie diets have a place for people that are where I was and literally need that break from food. They just need to take food out of the equation to reset and then have that clear relationship with food where they can slowly introduce the food again and get to a better place with food. However, I am really honest with clients that if they come back, that might not always be the answer second time round. And what I encourage is this developing that relationship with yourself instead of just relying on a meal replacement to get you back to where you want to be. Okay, I just wanted to acknowledge that because I know there's a few of you watching who do work with me on the one-to-one diet. Okay, so what are you prepared to do? Right now, this is my favorite saying, this next one. Get curious, okay? You need to get curious about food and yourself, okay? Think about your body. It's like a science experiment, yeah? How does different food make you feel? What food gives you energy? Yeah? What food lights you up? What do you like about food? Do you like cooking? Do you like, quick, easy, ready meals? Yeah. Well, get curious about it all. Think about your relationship with food. What foods do you like eating? Not what foods you should eat. What do you like? What do you enjoy? What foods nourish you? Yeah. And then be curious about which foods link with which emotional eating. Okay. Think about, whenever I'm poorly, I always think soup is the answer. Now, the doctor wouldn't prescribe me soup, okay? The doctor would prescribe me whatever medication I needed. But what's ingrained in me is soup makes me feel better. And I've got a really strong memory of my dad making tomato soup when I was really poorly, okay? So all of our food, it has links, it has, connections that make us feel all warm and fuzzy. So, get in touch with those connections and also let go of ones that are not helpful. So if your connection is like if you think about a child falling over and crying and they're hurt, and we scoop them up and we might say, come on, let's go and get you a biscuit. That child really early on, 3 years old, learns, food will stop me crying. Food makes everything okay. Now, if you've got that connection with food, be curious about it. That's really, really interesting. But then also work on, being a bit kind of like, well, that might have helped in that moment, but does food really make me feel better? Because actually, food is might have made me feel better in that moment, but if you're eating food and then it makes you feel rubbish after, then clearly it doesn't make you feel better. Yeah, what happens is it's like instant gratification. It's like a quick fix, but then we feel rubbish after. So it's trying to almost kind of get interested with that relationship and start to learn to think ahead and go, gosh, look, here I am standing with the biscuit barrel. Wow, because I think this is going to make me feel better because I've learned from years of behavior that food is the answer. But actually what I'm learning now is that only makes me feel better for 30 seconds. So is there something else I can do? Yeah, it's all about like getting to know yourself and getting in touch with yourself so you can start to tweak things. Okay, get off the blood sugar roller coaster when you're being curious. What foods are giving you those highs and lows? What if you find that you can actually eat differently and still lose weight without dieting? Imagine, just get curious about that. Could I actually eat and lose weight without dieting? Wow. Okay. Let me just catch up on the comments. I always feel like I'm the biggest person wherever I go. I actually looked around at an airport once thinking, oh my God, I'm the fattest person here and it feels so horrendous. Why can't I get the weight off? I'm sorry that you're feeling that way, and I hear you because I know I've felt exactly the same in situations. I know how difficult it is. Cha-cha, chocolate helps my hormones. Yeah, me too. Instant gratification followed by self-loathing. Totally, yeah. I eat chocolate, then I feel like I shouldn't have eaten it, and I feel so bad, and then I go and eat something else. And that's the thing, isn't it? Once we start on that cycle, we feel so rubbish that the only answer feels like just eating something else, because it's like, I'll just ignore it and I'll just keep eating. And then that familiar saying is, I'll start again tomorrow, or I'll start again on Monday. Okay. Right, are you ready for, where are we? Number 7. I know I said I'd be about an hour and I'm slightly over, so I hope that you guys are all okay for 5 or 10 more minutes. So Number 7, okay, evaluate without judgment. And what I mean by this, okay, is start being curious about your food without judging yourself, okay? I invite you to go in your cupboards this afternoon or over the weekend and your freezer and read all of the labels and evaluate what you are eating. But I want you to do this without judging yourself, okay? We all live busy lives. We all have the go-to easy foods that we feed our family, and that's okay. But what we want to do is start to work towards a chemical-free diet as much as possible. And I say as much as possible because it's not just as easy as, oh, well, that's it, I'll just eat fresh food from tomorrow and I'll never eat anything that's out of a packet. But if you imagine Farmer Giles is over here, and Farmer Giles likes to eat everything that he has grown or reared on his farm, okay? And then over here, we've got the processed hot dog, okay? The ones out of the tin that gosh knows what they put in them. And I'm sure there's probably even worse foods than that, okay? Another one is like an American Twinkie. It's like, well, what, yeah, just full of processed stuff. And what we want to do, and what I've realized is some of this food is like really low calories, like tinned hot dog sausages. I didn't realize how low in calories some of them are. So, you know, people on Slimming World and things are eating these because it's like, oh yeah, they're really low calories, I can have 4 of them. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So what we're aiming to do is we're aiming to get closer to Farmer Giles, okay? So if you are eating lots of things with long use by dates on, it is likely that they have a lot of processed, or they're processed and they're heavily processed, and they're filled with chemicals to make them last longer or to make them taste good. And if you are looking at labels and you read the ingredients list and you either don't know what it is or you can't pronounce it, then that is where you might think, could I make something similar myself? Maybe you can batch cook the sauce and get it out of the freezer rather than eating this highly processed chemical stuff, okay? And this is really, really hard to do. And I'm still working on this one because obviously on a perfect week when everything goes to plan and we've got time to cook and prepare and everything else, that's great. But quite often we are eating in a rush. We've got so much of the pressures, and also it's your situation, the finances, how many people you've got to cook for, what other people like to eat, and everything else. But I promise you, when you start eating foods that are not full of rubbish, it's a game changer. It really is. Foods are more satisfying. You will stay satisfied for longer, and it will change everything for the whole family as well if you can help them to change things. Okay, so without judgment, start looking at what you are actually eating. Okay, right. Number 8, okay, create an inner peace. Okay, what can you do to help yourself lower your stress levels? Now think back to that thoughts, feelings, behavior, and when you are stressed, check in. What are you thinking that is perpetuating this stress? Okay, simple example here is being late for work. Okay, so when I am going somewhere and I'm late, I panic and I get myself stressed. Now, the thoughts that are allowing my feelings to become stressed is, well, if I'm honest, they're pretty unrealistic, because what my thoughts are, that person won't like me. They'll think I'm unreliable. They probably won't want to meet me again. They'll think I'm flaky. They might hate me. And it's just all of these silly things. And if we go into work, it's like, oh, they're going to think I'm always late. I might get the sack. They're going to think I'm no good at my job. Okay. Whoa. Let's just rewind those thoughts. If we are in a logical, balanced state with our thoughts, the reality is, I'm late because of whatever's happened. Let's imagine we're sitting in a traffic jam. I am late. I'm in a traffic jam. There's been an accident. This is completely out of my control. I cannot change the situation. I can only manage the situation. And what I can do is phone ahead, leave a message, explain the situation. Okay. And by doing that, that calms that inner critic, that calms that sloth brain that's telling you that, you should have left earlier, you should have done this, you should have done that, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. So it really is about trying to work with your thoughts to lower your stress. And then think about, what other simple things can you do to lower your stress? Keeping a journal helps you to lower your stress levels. Starting putting boundaries in place so that you are not constantly saying yes to things that you haven't got time to do, and then you're stressing out because you haven't got time. And here's a nice little one to do, and I've been doing this. I don't know if I've got mine here. No, but get a post-it and write on it no expectations, and put one in your car, put one at your desk, put one in your fridge, anywhere you want. No expectations. And this week, I invite you to live your life without expectations. Okay. And what I mean by that is, we go into so many situations with an unexpected outcome. And then when it doesn't pan out how we expect it, we get stressed, we get frustrated. So how about we live our life without expectations? How about you step on the scales if you are weighing without any expectations? How about you go for a meal or to meet your friend, or you go to work without expectations? Imagine how differently the outcome of your day could be if you live this week with no expectations. Okay, so lower your stress levels. And as I said earlier to Sarah, practice gratitude. When we focus on what is good, it allows us to stop focusing on the bad. Okay. Right, we're nearly there. Number 9. Now, I've got a confession. Number 9 is 2, because I wanted to keep it 10 to 10, and I kept adding more in. So number 9 is get in balance. And what I mean by this is water and movement. Okay, and I call it movement. I don't like to call it exercise. Okay, so first of all, water. Do you drink enough water? Okay, now be honest with yourself. Do you drink enough water? The NHS recommends around 8 glasses a day. In America, they have a way of working it out on body weight to how many ounces of water, so how many pounds to how many ounces. But realistically, we need to be drinking a good amount of water. And you can Google how much water does my body need depending on your weight. So I often give people around the 2 litres to aim for, but it's good to Google it depending on your weight, because actually when I was at nearly 18 stone, I needed kind of more like 5 to 6 litres of water compared to being the weight I am now. Great work if you know you don't need enough water and you've bought a water bottle. Brilliant. If you do drink a good amount of water, that is brilliant. Well done, Helen. But if you are not used to drinking a lot of water, then start small. Don't just think, right, today I've got to drink 2 litres. Build up to it. Set yourself a week or 2 weeks to get there, and then set yourself little targets. When I first started increasing my water, I kind of made a deal with myself that I would drink a certain amount by 10 o'clock in the morning, and then a certain amount by 12 or 1 o'clock. So I could build up throughout the day, because normally what happens is, if you don't really drink water, your sitting with your water bottle on your desk all day, and it's still full at the end of the day. So set an alarm on your phone, have a tally sheet in your journal that you tick when you've drank. Just put things in place to make sure you are drinking enough water. And the second thing about getting in balance is your movement. Okay, now going back to the blood sugar roller coaster, there's 7 steps to helping you with your blood sugar roller coaster, and 1 step is water and 1 step is moving more. And that's why I wanted to add these in, along with the different types of food you're eating, to help you get your energy levels in balance. So when I talk about movement, I don't want you to suddenly think, oh, I've got to exercise. I want you to think about, what do you enjoy when you're moving? If you were moving, what movement would you enjoy? You might really enjoy walking. You might enjoy putting some music on and dancing around the kitchen. Or another good question to ask yourself is, what movement did you enjoy as a child? And I did this a few months back. You might have seen it on my social. And I remember roller skating, so I bought some roller skates, and I'm trying to learn to roller skate now. It's not going very well, I must admit. But I also enjoyed swimming. So they're things that I like doing and I feel good doing. I don't feel good going to the gym, so I don't go to the gym. So it is, what do you enjoy doing? And I've recently discovered muscles and weight training, and that's really interesting me, because I'm interested in how my body is working with that. So rather than feeling that you should exercise, what movement makes you happy? Okay. Nicole, I drink so much water. People always tell me I'll drown myself. Yes, there is a thing as too much water. Yes, there absolutely is. And if you drink too much water all at once, you can actually drown your organs. So please, please don't do that. The trick to drinking water is to space it out regularly throughout the day. You shouldn't be trying to, drink 2 liters all at once, because you've got to drink your water. It is about spacing it out through the day. Okay, right, number 10. I think I left this one a secret. Did I leave it as a secret? Okay, number 10, the secret to staying on track. Okay, this is accountability. Okay, when we are being observed, or we have to prove to someone else what we are doing, we perform better. Okay, when we are accountable, we perform better. How many of you have been to a weekly weighing group? How many of you said, oh, if it wasn't for going there, I wouldn't have stuck to it? Yeah, we perform better. So it's not a bad thing to have that accountability, but it's also, the other secret is support. So support and accountability. Okay. And what I mean by that is, we always tell ourselves we should be able to do this. Yeah. The amount of ladies I work with, and they're like, do you know what, Jenny? I'm an intelligent woman. I've got a really good job. I run a home. I've got a family. I'm really intelligible. I know what to do in every other area of my life. And yet, why can't I get a grip on this? And it's like, we tell ourselves we're meant to be able to sort it out. We're meant to be able to do it alone. But we have grown up in a world that's food options have rapidly expanded. The media have bombarded us with messages about size, about shape, about what's acceptable. And then we've listened to 100 different diet theories. And then we tell ourselves that we should be able to do it. So my top tip, this secret, is get yourself an accountability partner. Work with somebody that's going to keep you on track, whether it's a friend, a colleague, a family member, a coach. Work with someone that is going to support you on this journey, and choose wisely. There is no point working with your best friend who will encourage you to go and eat at every given moment, because actually she's quite happy for you to stay the way you are. Or maybe she just thinks food does make you happy and you're just being silly with the whole thing. Okay, so choose somebody that is going to hold you accountable, that is going to challenge you when you start wavering and when you have them bumps in the road. Okay, now I know I have bombarded you with 10 things, so I want to say, don't get overwhelmed. Focus on one or two, okay? Don't think you've got to change everything. Just choose one or two to focus on. And if you've got the handout, I've broken it into the next few weeks so that you can focus on one or two each week. Okay. So tell me in the comments, what do you want to work on? What can you start working on straight away? Okay. And the other thing is, as it says there, use the group. You now, hopefully this live has brought you back together. You've seen each other commenting. You can report your progress in this group and we can all become your cheerleaders. We can cheer you on. Okay. Brilliant. Helen, water and movement. Cheers. Water and movement. Excellent. Anybody else? What are you going to work on? Great, Nicole. Lessen your expectations. I love that. Fantastic. Being patient. Love that, Cha-Cha Rose. Yeah. 3 balanced meals made from scratch. Excellent. And find something else to do instead of just grabbing the ice cream, Mickey. Great. Being realistic is an area for you to focus on. Lovely, Helen. And being aware and getting real with myself. Creating inner peace. I love that, Lee. Fantastic. Okay. So I'm really, really excited to see how you start to progress. And I really do hope that you will use this group to help you accelerate your success. Being kind to myself and being accepting of my decisions. Beautiful. Lovely. Okay. So reducing stress where I can is a biggie. Sleep and movement. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So again, think about what thoughts are causing you to be stressed. What are you telling yourself? Working on your limiting beliefs is really helpful for that, because what you're often telling yourself is coming from a belief, like, that you're stuck there because your belief is not allowing you to move forward. Buying the journal today, any recommendations? Oh my goodness. Wow, there's so many out there. You can get ones that have got in fact, in places like B&M and Home Bargains, they do good journals which have a place for your food, but it also has a place for notes. Just make sure you've got enough for notes. In some ways, you might be better just with a nice, beautiful notebook that's like, you spent that extra couple of pound on, but that's really beautiful and just for you. Because then you can just write and write and write and write. Questions to ask yourself, just like, how has my day been? How can I make sure tomorrow is a success? What are my thoughts? Which thoughts are real? Which thoughts are not? And things like that. Okay. Now, before I go, I want to share with you, because you guys are in my group, my special announcement. So a few of you have messaged over the past weeks asking about how to work with me. So I just wanted to share a very special announcement. The Becoming You Academy is opening its doors again. Yay! This is like so excited for me. So I hope you'll share my excitement. So in June, I launched the Becoming You 6-week Kickstart program, and I took a small group of ladies through this program. It was an online program with fortnightly coaching calls as well. And we had some brilliant feedback. This course, it sold out within 48 hours, which was really, really exciting. And this was just some of the feedback that I had from the course. So in the last 2 weeks since your course, I've become very grounded and content. I've stopped biting my nails. I'm focused on healthy foods, and I'm slowly losing a few pounds. I love the personal and self-reflection and personal discovery. Although it should be obvious, it helped me to unearth my why. Although I'm quite a grounded person, this course has helped me focus, strengthen my focus and resolve to be the best person I can be. And this course gave me a safe space to reset myself and feel better for it. So it was a really, really successful course. And I've taken all of the ladies' feedback and tried to develop something that is even more going to offer even more support. Okay. So what I've decided to do is a 10-week group coaching program. So this means that the group will meet weekly to help them change their relationship with food, their relationship with their self. And it is going to be a small closed group. It is for ladies only, and it will be 10 weeks of group coaching calls via Zoom. We will meet once a week. Then there will be additional resources inside the Becoming You Academy, which will be videos and handouts to support you, how to really work on keeping a journal, different kind of theories behind why we do what we do to help keep you on track, because the more knowledge you have, the more power you will have. You will always have weekly action steps. You will have a private Facebook group, so you have immediate access to answer questions, and most importantly, an accountability partner each week, which you can touch base with, which you will be required to touch base with through the week. So that's not an option. We need you to touch base during the week so that you stay on track and reach your goals. Okay, so that is what is included. So if you are interested in the 10-week coaching program, in the group coaching program, just drop me a message. So drop me a DM, or if it's easier, just comment send on this thread, and I will go back through later today and I will send the information. I'll send out the full details of the program to anyone that's interested. And if you sign up within 48 hours of receiving the information, there's 2 extra special bonuses that are really, really exciting, including working with me on a one-to-one session to either review your food diary or just help you becoming unstuck. Okay, so thank you, Helen. Send. Thank you, Nicole. I will drop you guys a message later today with the details if you are interested. And finally, I did promise a prize. So what I'm going to do is on Tuesday, I'm going to come back live and I'm going to announce the winner of the prize because I want to give anybody who is watching on replay time to also comment on the feed and be in with a chance of winning. So I'll come live and announce the winner on Tuesday, which is really, really exciting because I love prizes. And I think that is everything. All that is left for me to say is thank you. Thank you. I know I've gone 30 minutes over. Thank you for allowing yourself this time. Thank you for interacting with me, because it really, really does help to know that you are there when I'm literally talking to what feels like myself. But it's great to have that feedback. But well done in allowing yourself this time. And please, can I just ask, if you have found this helpful, please can you invite people to join the group? Invite them to join the group and watch this video, because there's loads of our friends and family that are really struggling with their relationship with food. They just pop into the group and watch this video, they might find some real value. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, and you can just tag me and share it on your feed, then it just helps me to spread the word so that I can keep providing this helpful information. And yes, I work with people and there's my course, but I will always still provide information for people who are not ready to take that next step, who just want to listen to my podcast, who just want to listen to my lives. I will always be here, and I'm going to try and get in this group at least once a month to do some sort of masterclass and help you. And something else, I'm training to help people align themselves for weight loss on a more probably like a spiritual level, if you like, but just in terms of aligning our human Wi-Fi and getting ourselves connected, and working in a different place. So that will be coming over the next couple of months, and I'll be sharing that with you guys first as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all of your lovely feedback, and hopefully I will see some of you inside the Becoming You Academy. Helen, do I work with 15-year-olds? Not as a rule, but I am. It's not as a rule. It's not something I've done before, but I am more than happy to have a chat. And if that person's not already watching this, then please let her watch this and have a think about whether this resonates with her. And I'm more than happy to work with her. I think it would need to be aside from the group coaching, because the group coaching is adults and obviously different things are discussed within a group setting. So thank you, ladies. I'm going to finish my water. I feel like I've not drank enough this morning because I've talking. Oh, Nicole, thank you so much. You're like a little angel in my life. That's beautiful. Thank you, ladies. I'm just looking at all your lovely comments. I'm so glad that I've helped you think on a different level about your relationship with food, and have a wonderful weekend. I'm going off now to, there's a big tent being set up in my garden in the rain because it's Nancy's birthday. So I'm going out in the rain now. If I pop back on later, I might look like that, disheveled. So have a lovely weekend, ladies. Thank you so much. I'm so pleased you got so much out of this. And for those who want the information, I'll pop it across later on today. Take care, ladies. Bye.